we've got a big problem. Like a car stuck in traffic, our good behaviors are hindering our God-given potential. And this is a travesty because unfulfilled potential negatively impacts the people tied to your fulfilled calling. When you don't reach your full potential, someone, some community, or some nation suffers. Our behaviors are one of the vehicles that drive us to our destiny. A good behavior puts us on the right path, but if the behavior stops at good, it will become a hindrance to our fulfilled calling. Now I know this may seem like an odd claim. I mean, how can something good be a hindrance to us? But if you think about it, it does make sense. Let's take the behavior of reading the same Bible verse every day for 5 minutes a day. This is a good behavior. But if you never allow the behavior to grow, there will be biblical wisdom that you need to fulfill your calling that you won't have access to because you never allowed your good behavior to grow. Similarly, let's take someone who graduates high school, which is another good behavior, another great thing to do. But if your fulfilled calling requires you to get a college degree and you never go back to school, well then the good behavior of you having and gaining knowledge and getting an education just isn't good enough. Again, if you don't fulfill your calling, an incalculable number of people will be negatively impacted. We've all seen the ramifications of leaders, poor leaders, who did not uphold their duties to the people they served. And it would be equally as devastating if we, disciples of Jesus Christ, rejected our callings, our full calling, and settled for something less than our full calling. We would be hurting the very people we're called to serve. In light of all of this, we've got to ask the question, does this big problem apply to me? How can I know if my good behaviors have become stagnant and are slowing down my maturity and progress in the Lord? Well, there are a lot of ways we can assess ourselves and see if we have allowed our good behaviors to become stagnant. For example, if you notice a pattern of bad or unproductive cycles in your life, there's a chance that you have settled for a few good behaviors. If no one in your community has commented on your maturity and growth, that means they are not seeing you grow externally, which could mean that you are not growing internally. If you don't set goals for yourself, if you resist God when He says you need to work on something, these are key indicators that you've become stagnant. And there's a lot more than this, but if Tim Kight were still alive, he might say something like this. If you have a list of resistant, autopilot, and/or impulsive behaviors, you may have stagnated somewhere in your life. But thankfully, big problems can often be solved with simple solutions. If you want to fulfill your God-given potential, then the first thing you need to do is to commit to living with wholehearted devotion towards God. Ask Him to help you live a life wholly devoted to Him. No matter who you are, if you are not wholly devoted to Jesus, you will not reach your full potential. It all starts and ends with Him. From a place of total devotion, God will begin to deal with your behaviors. He's going to remove behaviors that only hurt you. He's going to implement behaviors that are necessary for your calling, and He's going to improve behaviors that need to be matured. In most cases, God isn't just interested with giving us a new behavior. He also wants to make sure our behaviors mature. Simply put, our behaviors shouldn't just stop at good. They should be good and growing. Yes, it's good to read the same Bible verse every day, but it's even better to grow to a place where you are reading a variety of Bible verses for more than 5 minutes a day. A good behavior puts you on the path of your God-given potential, but a good and growing behavior gives you the best chance to see that potential fulfilled. In 2 Peter chapter 1, the Apostle Peter is speaking to a group of first century Christians. And he reminds them that they've been given everything they need to live a godly life through their knowledge of Jesus Christ. He then goes on to say in verse 5, "For this reason, make every effort to add to your faith goodness, and to goodness, knowledge, and to knowledge, self-control, and to self-control, perseverance, and to perseverance, godliness, and to godliness, mutual affection, and to mutual affection, love. For if you possess these qualities in increasing measure, they will keep you from being ineffective and unproductive in your knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. Peter reminds us that we should be adding to our faith. The things that he lists are various behaviors and fruits of the Spirit. When we don't possess these qualities in increasing measure, our faith becomes ineffective and unproductive. Having these behaviors is good, but allowing them to become stagnant weakens our faith and it reduces our ability to achieve our God-given potential. And this should be unacceptable to disciples of Jesus because countless people are waiting on us to fulfill our calling and they need us to fulfill our calling. We were created for such a time as this, to be game changers and to be reconcilers between God and man and to be restorers of a great many things that are broken in this world due to sin, shame, and the enemy. But if we don't fulfill our calling, people will be missing out on their potential. So whatever the behavior is, whether it's love, whether it is gentleness, whether it's prayer or patience, even career development, do not let that behavior stay stuck at good. Make sure it's good and growing. My website has over 100 behaviors that you can either remove, implement, and/or improve. Additionally, each behavior has a corresponding skill that you can practice to help you with your behaviors. Feel free to check the website out if you need a little bit of help going from good to good and growing. Additionally, if you need a little bit of motivation living with wholehearted devotion to God, feel free to check this video out where I share with you a few simple but profound ways wholehearted devotion to God can change your actions.